6 months or something like that. It's a huge effort to design the project.
In other words, we don't have the bandwidth or capacity
Yeah,
to
it's
in-house do it.
Gotcha.
And Mike, your feelings are hurt.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
And they designed all the original portions that went through this area too. And so they've done all the designs, they know all the grades and they did everything. It's just working through these two issues was the holdup.
To think of this as a giant sidewalk is a bit misleading. There's a lot of aspects to this, and so
Oh, to go
It's
under the bridge
it's
just in
ginormous.
itself is huge, so,
Going west of the Orson building will be a
yeah.
animal.
I mean, it will flood, but that's an appropriate
It
use.
does on,
Yep,
yeah.
that's an appropriate
too.
use of floodplain ground to put trails and things like that through it.
Ellen?
Have we figured out what we're gonna do on 15 and cross over by the cemetery?
The state has already said you'll have an accurate crossing. We'll tell you what it's going to do unless you want to raise your own money and do something different.
sounds great, thank you, state.
Yep, that's
Mhm.
that's
An at-grade crossing means just buyer, walker beware?
yep.
Well, it'll be marked. I mean,
It'll be marked. They'll determine. NDOT will say, this is what it is. If they say you have a bike trail, the speed limit needs to be brought down. Them and their engineers will determine all that. We can advocate, but they'll make all the decisions as that.
And then in the future, we can come back and revisit that.
Okay, and one other question, are we still on the south side, right by the cemetery, all the way up to Carroll Cave?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you can kind of see they've kind of got it graded from the Waverly Road project where it will go.
And the lights are already on that side too, so it would help. But
That's why those lights are, I know people don't like them, some of them, but that's the reason that those lights are so bright and for only one pole, is because it has to go all the way from the trail, all the way to potentially another future trail or sidewalk connection on the north side of Waverly Road, which is a massive distance. That's why those lights are so big and bright.
The question I get about the lights isn't that they're bigger or bright, it's that people seem to have an optical illusion that they're different spaced lights. Some of them are closer to each other than others. I get that question.
Mike?
It's crazy.
There is a slight difference. I would say they probably vary between 138 feet center to center to maybe 148 feet. So actually, and the reason it's done that way is the actual, you have a certain amount of incremental lights, a fixed number, right, ordinal number between intersections, and they're just divided up evenly.
So that's really true, okay.
Yeah.
I just thought they
But
were.
they're actually quite close. We were
We're
given
seeing
a
it.
number, I think 142 feet, center to center by the lighting engineer, and so we adhered to that as close as possible.
Okay, people are good. Picked it right out.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, there entertaining a motion to, or I guess someone introduce the resolution.
I'll introduce the resolution.
The resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2022-5. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor are Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Colterman, Singleton, Hendricks, 6-0.
Okay, item number 6, agreement for professional engineering services with the Shimmer Associates Incorporated for Calca Boulevard box culvert improvements near Plum Creek Park. Greg.
Yeah, this one is the box culvert that's essentially right out from the Legion Field, right behind the Legion Field, just to the north. That big storm drainage that comes down through there. There is a large box culvert that you can essentially walk through. It's very large under Carroll K. It has turned into a waterfall off to the east side. It's just dug its way out due to the velocity. And so it's gotten to the point where it's almost undermining, well, it is undermining, to the roadway and also to one of the walls that comes off one of the sides. This needs to be addressed. It's been on our solutions and problems list for a while now. And so we went out, Mike and myself went out and met with Shimmer, we had asked all the engineering firms, who has dealt with this specific issue? We want to see tangible solutions that dealt with this issue, and we want to go look at them. And so we got some from different ones, and Shimmer had some very close ones in Lancaster County. Both of them, I think, are in Lancaster County. And we went out on site, dug down in with our boots on, everything else in the middle of the cold, and actually looked at them functioning in the way that they're going to build in some not essentially weirs, but what were some of the water elements on that they're gonna put in there?
I forget what the technical.
There's a technical term for it, but essentially it's a wall that's built up in the splashway that dissipates the energy of the water coming down that causes that undermining. And so there'll be kind of a spillway that's concrete, and it will have these different little walls in there that will help dissipate that water, slow down that energy, and then when it releases off of the pad, it won't undermine itself as much. And they'll also fix our undermining issue that's going on now and make sure that that's all stable. But if we let this go too long, I mean, we'll be rebuilding Carroll K and have to close the whole roadway down to fix the problem. So it's not a safety issue right now, but we don't wanna have to get to the point where we have to replace that culvert because it cracked underneath or something like that, so.
Any questions or comments on item number 6? If not, we just entertain a simple motion.
Move approved.
Sorry.
We have a motion,
Brain
Second.
froze.
motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor are Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Colterman, Singleton, Hendricks, 6-0.
Alright, next we have the city administrator's report.
COVID continues to be an issue for us. I know you guys are watching the numbers and things like that. We just have a lot of personnel out now. So I think that's kind of everywhere. But, so we continue on that one. Lots of projects in the works. My team's working with PetSource on that expansion. That project's kind of adjusted in regards to their needs for transformers. So we've kind of slowed that one down. We'll be meeting with their engineering teams on Friday again, I hope, to try and get the final solution on some of those transformer issues. Looking through, Personnel, Finance, and Audit Committee met right before this to review the first giant 30-page chunk of handbook amendments. And so we'll take those back after their recommendations today. We'll take those back to the department heads, have them review that, and then we'll bring it to council for formal approval after we review it with department heads. So that went on. I was trying to look through any other fun stuff I got on there. Ton of traffic committee items that we're doing follow up on. We did the dwell development tonight. Working with a lot of boards and committees, getting reappointments done, following up on some quorum issues we're having just because people are gone, having illness issues, or they're just not able to keep up with those committees anymore. So I can answer any specific questions you have about the report.
Any questions or comments for Greg?
Motion to accept the report.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Please register your votes, please display the votes.
Voting in favor are Wilken, Beck, Camperth, Colterman, Singleton, Hendricks, 6-0.
Any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action? Anyone else? Anyone? No one? No one? No one has any? Oh, Alyssa.
Lincoln West past Seward Manor on the curve. Is your department aware of the cracking on that road?
After the curve,
It's like, so if you're heading
west.
west, it would be the beginning of that curve. There's some
It's
pretty
sunk.
extensive cracking and sinking on the north side of that.
Okay, I'll have Bob take a look at it. Right at the curve, it turns into county.
So it's right where you're about ready to start with the trees.
He's back there.
Yeah.
I'll have Bob take a look at it.
Yeah,
If it's on the
like
north side of the
Seward
roadway
Manor's
before it
here,
curves.
And then you
Yeah.
go, and then it's like right as it, before the railroad tracks or any of that. It's
Okay.
like right in the beginning of that corner.
I'll have Bob and Mike go out and take a look at it.
It's right before you hit the trees.
Yeah, right before you hit the trees there. So, and then my second one, is there a way that we could have Tim do some investigating, or our community service officer on 1115 North Columbia? The property's kind of dismantled at the moment.
Is that directly north of the CDC? Yep.
Other than that, that's all I have for you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else.
Where are we at with the moving of the house?
I think they got the route today, and then I think they've moved out
Looks like
officially.
Glazers moved out, there was a contractor working, today in and around the house. So he's got a few pieces of equipment, I assume they're prepping the house.
Yeah, so I think, because you have to approve that at city council, I think you'll approve the route, and then they'll be able to go at the February 1st meeting.
Nice.
Alright, any other items? If not, then Jonathan James, upcoming events.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Coffee and Contacts networking event scheduled for Bell Chiropractic on Tuesday, January 25th, starting at 7:30 a.m. Our organization is continuing to facilitate the Zoom meetings in partnership with Four Corners to continue to give the community and the county updates on COVID-19 impacts. The next one is to be held on Thursday, January 27th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Our upcoming annual awards banquet is being held on Monday, January 31st at Harvest Hall and Fairgrounds, and would encourage you to consider participating if you are able to join us. And then lastly, I'd like to introduce our newest teammate to the chamber, Jacob Jennings. He's serving as our Community Affairs Director. This is filling Zane Franciscato's role as he's transitioned to a new job. Jacob will be focusing on housing and workforce development projects, and please help me welcome him to our organization.
Welcome.
Welcome. Alright, thank you, Jonathan. Next we have strategy session.
I move that the city council goes into a closed session with the mayor, the city clerk, and the city attorney for the protection of the public interest and to discuss real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor are Wilken, Beck, Camper, Coulterman, Singleton, Hendricks, 6-0.
Alright, the council has voted to go into closed session for the protection of the public interest and to discuss real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance. We are in closed session. Thank you, everyone.